Terrence Williams will learn Friday morning whether a Pennsylvania court will stay his execution. Now, he was convicted of luring a 56-year-old man to a cemetery and beating him to death with a tire iron. But now his attorney says the prosecution withheld evidence that he was sexually abused for years by the guy he murdered. His lawyers are racing against the clock. Terrence, or Terry as he's called, is scheduled to be put to death by lethal injection on October 3rd. Let's go right to criminal defense attorney Nishay Sanan to talk about this case. Nishay, first of all, thanks for joining us. You know, when the primary witness in the case, that's really how this got started. The primary witness basically changed his story, right, and said that he didn't say what he really wanted to years ago because of the prosecution. When this happens almost 30 years after the fact, how much of an uphill battle is the defense facing to try to save their client's life?
Well, I think it's going to be a big uphill problem for the defense. There's a very short clock before Mr. Williams is executed, and here you have a witness who wants to tell their story but didn't get an opportunity. Unless the governor or the court step in, the defense is going to have a hard time presenting this evidence to try to get a reprieve from the death penalty. And It's going to be very difficult to prove, especially since this happened so long ago. Mr. Williams has been sitting in jail for quite a bit of time on death row, and for now, the defense to try to take the prosecution's, you know, for lack of a better word, misconduct, which they should be able to take to try to save this young man's life, they are going to have to fight tooth and nail with the government and the judge and the courts.
Now, the defense is trying to prove the motivation was sexual abuse, right? Not robbery. And
That's
in fact...
No, it's correct.
Okay. And in fact, a second person that Terry Williams was convicted of killing is someone that he had there was some sort of sexual contact between them. And the jury in that case, in fact, did spare Terry Williams' life because they were said to be uncomfortable about whatever type of sexual contact there may have been between them. So this is the type of thing that really could have made a difference with the jury, with some juries at least, had they known this.
I think it would, because you got to remember, in a death penalty case, there's two different phases. There's the guilt phase, and then there's the issue of whether or not the jury unanimously can agree to give the death penalty. I think jurors have already come forward and have joined in on trying to get a reprieve on the death penalty, stating that if they would have known this evidence, they would have never voted for the death penalty. You have jurors coming forth and saying if they would have known this, they never would have given Mr. Williams the death penalty. And I think that's big. I think the withholding of all this information is just an outcry of why our criminal justice system is broken.
And we have to be clear, the prosecution has said that the story is a complete fabrication and it's not true at all. We have to be very clear about that. Before I let you go, if the court does not rule in Terry Williams' favor come Friday, what other options does he have?
Well, the other options he has is the governor can step in and stop the execution, give the defense more time to try to present their case. There are other governmental officials who could step in and stop this. The Supreme Court could step in and stop this execution. And if not completely stop it, at least give the defense additional time to prove to a judge that the prosecutors committed such misconduct that had this evidence been presented, this verdict of a death penalty would never have come through.
Okay, Nishay Sanan, thank you for walking us through all the legal issues here, and we'll check back in with you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. There appears